right, today in our video, we have a video to get us started, and then we'll do our notes page and our practice page, and then we'll talk about the homework. So let's look at that video. So move this guy over here. All right, so video is from the math curriculum, and we're going to get started talking about estimating sums and differences. We're going to use skills that we already know about from rounding to help us with math today. Maybe. Come on, there we go.
Books, magazines, and movies were checked out of the public library. About how many more books were checked out than magazines and movies combined? Do you always need a precise answer? When might an estimate be preferable to a precise answer? You do not always need a precise answer. For example, an estimate might be preferable when using greater numbers, such as the population of a city or measuring a length of time. What are you asked to find in this problem? What do you need to find first? You are asked to find about how many more books were checked out than magazines and movies combined. First, you need an estimated sum of the magazines and movies.
Be precise. The place you round to determines how accurate your estimate will be.
First, estimate by rounding to the nearest thousand. Find the number of magazines and movies. Which are the correct estimates for the numbers of magazines and movies?
Select your answer.
Let's see. So I know 4,298. Let's see. It looks like these are all rounded to the thousands. That would round to 4,000. And I know the other one for movies would round to 2,000 because the one is smaller. So I wouldn't go up to the next 1,000.
Estimate the number of magazines and movies. 4,000 plus 2,000 equals 6,000. Subtract the number of magazines and movies from the rounded number of books. 13,000 minus 6,000 equals 7,000. About 7,000 more books were checked out. This time, estimate by rounding to the nearest hundred. Find the number of magazines and movies. 4,300 plus 2,100 equals 6,400. Subtract the number of magazines and movies from the rounded number of books. 12,600 minus 6,400 equals 6,200. About 6,200 more books were checked out. Which of the two versions of the problem results in the correct answer? Both answers are correct. Rounding to different places can result in different estimates. Though one may be closer to the actual answer, neither is more correct than the other.
All right, and we are not going to give it a try. So, like we talked about, both answers work. As long as you round correctly, any answer will work. There are a few things you cannot do when we're rounding, though. You can never round the one spot, because that's as small as you can. The smallest spot you can start is the tens, and you have to make sure that you round to the same spot in both places. Let's look at our notebook page 1, and that'll make more sense. Let's get back over here. All right, so we're talking about estimating sums and differences. When we're using our words, we're going to learn a vocab word, estimate, E-S-T-I-M-A-T-E. An estimate is an approximate answer, and S-W-E-R, or I can't quite fit it on this one, my finger's too big. I'm writing on my screen, solution. Okay, so an estimate is an approximate answer or solution. We're getting close to our real answer. We're kind of guessing, okay? But we're using numbers to help us round. So it's not really a guess. It's not just like I'm pulling a number out of thin air. An estimate is a multiple of 10 that is close to the number. So we're trying to get to close with rounding. So for example, 34,218 can be estimated as 34,220. If I round to my tens, it could be 34,200. If I round my hundreds, it could be 34,000 if I round my thousands, or it could be 30,000 if I round to my 10,000s. Notice as we round farther away from our ones place, our number gets less like 34,218. Okay, so it's not as precise. All good estimates. But if we want to get as close to our real answer, we want to use that tens place. Some key words to look for in our problems are the words about. If you see about, that tells us we need to estimate. You might see the word round. That means, yep, I need an estimate. Or they might just tell you to estimate. Okay, that's a T-E, my T-E, there we go. All right, so let's take a look at some examples. There's 2 steps when we are finding estimates. The first is we need to round both numbers, and we have to round to the same spot. I can't pick the tens in one spot and the thousands in the other. I have to pick the same spot. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm looking at my numbers, and I am going to round these ones to the thousand spot. So 4,297. I'm thinking back to how I round. Well, I know I'm doing my thousand spot, so I look next door, and the 2 tells me that my 4 is going to stay. So this rounded is 4,000. Now I'm going to round my 1,834. Because I did the thousand spot up top, I have to do the thousand spot down below. So let's take a look. 1 is in my thousands, next door is an 8. That tells my 1 to go up because it's closer to 2,000 than it is to 1,000. Now I add 4,000 plus 2,000 equals 6,000. All right, and I knew to add because there was an addition sign on the left. And that was my second step. Now, let's look at another one. My first thing I gotta do is round to the same spot in both numbers. I need rounded numbers to work with. Let's keep that thousand spot. So I want to work with my thousand spot in both of these. So I've got, let me just take a look. I'm going to underline instead. All right, 29,506. 29, I look next door, there's a 5, so my 9 would become a 10, and I need to carry that over, so this rounded number is actually 30,000. Now, let's look at 11,400. I'm using my thousand spot, because I use my thousands above. The 1 next door is a 4, so my 1 is going to stay, so I'm going to take away 11,000. And now I have to add or subtract. Well, I know this one is a subtraction sign, so I add that in. Let's see, 0, 0, 0. I can't do 0 minus 1, so I know I need to go next door and get 10 more. 10 minus 1, though, I can do is 9. 2 minus 1 is 1. So my estimated difference is 19,000. Notice how I went through and I found the place I was going to do, and I kept it the same in both numbers. And I used my rounding skills that we learned last time to help me round. So let's take a look at the practice page. Okay. So for this one, on the first two, they give us gray boxes to work with. They're telling us the spot that we have to round to. So what I'm doing is looking and seeing there's 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I want to count up 1, 2, 3, and the next spot is the one I'm working with. So I know I'm working with my 1,000 up top, which means I have to work with my thousands below. So I'm going to round my top number. 5,323. 5,323 would round to 5,000. So I'm going to put a 5 in that box. Now, 2,611. I look next door, and there's 6. It's 5 or more. So 2 actually goes up to a 3. All right, so I rounded to the same spot in both numbers. Yep. Now I can add or subtract. For this one, we have to add. So 5,000 plus 3,000. Because I know those are all zeros, I'm just going to add my thousands. 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to add in my place value. 8,000. We don't need to find the real answer today because we are just estimating sums and differences. So all I need to do is show my estimated number and answer on the right. Let's take a look at number 2. So I know that I have to estimate. I have to round my numbers. I know I need 2 zeros at the end. So I'm going to count 2 spots and then look. So I'm working with the hundreds, which means I need the hundreds in my second number. So I have 8 and next door is a 1. That tells my 8 that it should stay. So do you remember what happens to everything in front of that rounded place? It's going to stay. So I'm going to put my 542,000 still there. And now my 8 in the 100 spot we said would stay. And my 17 turns to zeros. Yep. All right, let's take a look at 24,398. Working with the 100 spot again. I look next door and see a 9. 9's knocking and says, yep, you're going to round up. We're going to raise the score. So everything in front of my 100 spot stays. So I have 24. And then my 3, we said, is going to raise the score. So he becomes a 4. Those rounding skills that we know. All right, so I rounded both numbers to the same place. Yep. Now I'm going to add or subtract. For this one, I'm going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0. 8 minus 4 is 4. 2 minus 4. I can't do that, so I need to go to my 100 or 10,000s. Now instead of 4 10,000s, I have 3 10,000s. And now I have 12,000s. There. 12 minus 4, let's see. I'm going to count backwards. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Now I can do 3 minus 2, though, is 1. And 5 minus nothing means that 5 stays. Now I need my comma, though, so I can read my number nice and easy. 1, 2, 3 numbers, and then I'll do my comma. So our estimated difference is 518,400. Let's do one more together, and then I'm going to have you work. This one is really tricky because my numbers aren't the same length, are they? They're different lengths. Now, the first rule number for estimating sums and differences is that I have to pick the same spot for both. The only spot I can do for this one, do you see it? Is the tens. So I know that 2 in the tens and that 9 in the tens. So I need to round 4,225 first. So I'm thinking to my tens next door was a 5. So I know 5 is going to tell my 2 and the 10s to round up. Everything in front stays. So I have 4,200. The 2 is going to round up, and my 5 becomes a 0. Now I'm looking to my 98. What does 8 tell my 9 to do? It tells it to go one more. But if 9 becomes one more, what does that become? That would become 10, but we can't have 10 10s. What are 10 10s the same as? 100. So I want to line up my numbers nice and neat under the spots. So I have my hundreds, 10s, and 1s lined up. Yep. All right, now I'm ready for step 2. Should I add or should I subtract? This one tells me to add, so I'm going to put a plus sign here. Now I'm going to go through and add. 0 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus nothing plus 0 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. And 4 plus nothing is 4. So my estimated sum is 4,330. Nice work. All right, you pause the video and try problems 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And using those rounding skills, figure out which places you should round to. Okay? Remember, it doesn't matter. You can have different estimations, but you should make sure that you are rounding most importantly. Unpause the video when you're ready to move on. All right, so I hope that practice went well. If you need Mrs. Wall's help, make sure you comment on Google Classroom, or you can send me an email too, and let me know if you need more help with this. Now, let's go back to the slide. And you've got your homework up next. So that's page 57 and 58. Problems 1 through 6, 12, 14, and 17. Number 17, I'll give you a hint, is going to have more than one answer, okay? And numbers 1, 2, and 3 are telling you which ones to round to. It's kind of like, on this page, these ones with the boxes. Think through how we figured out which spot we were rounding to there, okay? Let Mrs. Walls know if you have any questions. Otherwise, good luck and have fun.